Okay, you're good to go.
Good morning. It's 10:01 a.m. on June 17th, 2025. This is a regular meeting of the Kentucky State Board of Elections. I'm Michael Adams, the Secretary of State and Chair of the Board of Elections. I'll call this meeting to order, and I'll recognize members of the board as I see you on the screen here. Member Griggs.
Julie Griggs, member, McCracken County.
Member Owens.
Paul Owens, member, Kenton County.
Member Ferris.
Eric Ferris, member, Jefferson County.
Member Sears. You're muted, Member Sears.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Secretary. Dwight Sears, member, Pulaski County.
Member Perry. Member Perry, you're muted. Could you unmute for us for a second?
Sue Carol Perry, member, Shelby County.
Thank you. Member Skolnick.
Good morning, Corey Skolnick, member, Jefferson County.
Member Brangers.
Good morning, Deanna Brangers, member, Jefferson County.
We have a quorum and we'll get ahead to our business. I think we expect Member Johnson to join us shortly later in the meeting, but we'll go ahead and knock out what we can. First, we have our draft minutes from our last meeting on May 20th. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any changes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Ayes have it. Next, I think this is a separate attachment to the agenda than what I have, but we have the time recorded by Karen Sellers, our executive director. Has everyone received that? I think it was emailed by Rachel Pointer. Can I get a motion to approve Karen Sellers' time?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Ayes have it. Next, we have Rachel Pointer, and I'll let you, Rachel, both present our financial report and then also item 5 on the agenda, please.
Good morning. Not a lot to report. Everything is looking as we would expect for the end of the year, but next month we'll start to look a little wonky because we're going to close out the year during that month. So June and July will be the year-end close. We have until July 7th to record expenses that were incurred in fiscal year 25. So you will see expenses that are changing around during those 2 months. That will also be when the object types for general funds collapse. So there'll be any movement of funds between general funds will be recorded during that time as well. So this is kind of the calm before the storm. All of the closeout for fiscal year 25 will be happening. I'm kind of in a dead period right now, but as soon as we hit that last week of June and the first week of July, then everything will be pretty active. So I'm happy to take any questions about the financial recordings for May, if anybody has any.
Any questions for Rachel? Rachel, is there anything that we're trying to push into this fiscal year that we
there's a lot of renewals that happen right at the end of June, especially as far as software and developer licenses and things like that. They seem to all come up in the last month, in the very last month before the fiscal year. So there's a lot of IT expenses that will hit that we anticipate there. COT, charges and arrears. And so computer services, we're always paying, for the month behind. So they actually take out 2 payments in June, and those are quite hefty expenses. So right now it looks like we have a lot of unobligated, but we do anticipate that most of that will be consumed here throughout the month of June and the first week of July.
Any questions? If not, can we get a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Nice have it. Rachel, we'll stick with you. Could you walk us through, actually it's Karen's name on the memorandum, but I guess either of you walk us through the reimbursement to counties?
I can do that. Every year, the State Board of Elections has to set the rates pertaining to the statutes that are included in this rate memo. The maximum for KRS 117345 is $255 per precinct. That language did not change. And so we have configured our budget to allow that $255 maximum. KRS 116145, it is a set rate of 25 cents per new voter. So that did not change. And KRS 117.343, the maximum is 50 cents per registered voter. And we have used our budget to be able to maximize that cost as well. So all of these are the highest rate that we can do per statute for the upcoming year.
So we didn't have to notwithstand like we did some years ago where we had to give the counties less than the statute said because we got less money.
Yes. Basically the maximum per registered voter was because of when we did reapportionment and redistricting and things like that. So that has stayed, and the other two are just $255 and 25 cents are in statute, and that's what we have to reimburse. So the only fluctuation that we really have is in KRS 117343, but we have managed to keep that at 50 at the maximum for now.
Very good. So we need to approve this appropriation, right?
Yes, and then this will be signed and sent to OSBD and LRC for their records.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Ayes have it. So I don't think it's so if you have our book, I think it's, if you skip the next attachment, I think our next item is after that attachment. There were changes in statute that necessitated changes in the filing forms. And there is a chart on page 23 of your book that explains the changes that, it's 2 pages, explains the changes that we made. These are all, so actually, would you come up for a second? I've got Heather Quinn, our election director here. These are all forms that the board by statute has to promulgate because I think they are all forms that our office actually distributes to candidates, filing petitions for office and so forth. We went ahead and made the changes, but you all need to vote to approve them. Did everyone get a copy of the forms and the 2-pager explaining the changes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have any questions, I'll let Heather take it because she made the changes. Any questions? It was pretty simple stuff.
I sent the forms. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve these forms?
So moved.
Oh, I'm so
Second.
sorry. Moved and seconded. Taylor would
Yeah.
like to chime in.
Sorry, if maybe you all might want to make the motion to approve them, subject to any non-substantive changes that LRC may make, because sometimes that happens in promulgation process that they'll want to change a word here or there or something. So if I didn't catch who made the motion, but maybe if y'all wanted to amend the motion to say subject to any non-substantive changes.
Yeah, whoever made the motion seconded, are y'all okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Ayes have it. So next we have County Board of Election appointments made by the county parties. We have 77 counties where Democratic parties have nominated their member for the next 4 years. We have 82 counties where Republican parties at the county level have nominated their members for the next 4 years. Obviously, these two numbers are less than 120, so we have not received all of those. I don't think it's in the book, but you all should have received it separately from Karen. I believe that all of those are in good order and ready to approve, with one exception. If I recall, was it Grant County, Karen? Was it the Republican or the Democrat in Grant?
Yes,
Was
it was the
Republican?
Republican member. Yes, and
So-
that,
Go ahead.
if you don't mind, I'll go ahead. And the Republican member in Grant County, at the top of the list, has resigned, just as of Friday, resigned and removed his name at the top of the list. We received notification from the state party that he is requesting us to take the second person on the list, as opposed to submitting a full list of 5 names again. The second person on the list, he also mentioned, has temporarily filled in on occasion when, there's a step down during an election, and that would be the person they would want, and his name is Hilbert Hensley. And we did not change him on the spreadsheet yet, waiting to bring it to the board's attention. But Hilbert Hensley is the second name on the list for Grant County. And just, I sent those out in advance because of the size of the documents. But the spreadsheet with all the names of the ones we have for today is attached on page 25 and 26 of your packet.
So what I think I'll do is I won't go through every county. Just to be quick about it, I'll just read the names of the individuals. And if we could then vote on all of this collectively, unless any member has any objection to any individual named, we'll carve that out if we need to, but I don't expect that. So the very back of your book, the last 2 pages, I'm just going to read into the record just the individuals' names. Not all 5 nominated, but just the top of the list, with the one exception for Grant. So from Democratic County parties, we have Victoria Price, Darris K. Brow, B-R-O-W, Lynette Ross, William Hornback, William Blackman, Brian Garner, Wilma Tate, Sandra F. Woodward, Ella Johnson, Betty Malone, Christina Kinzer, Anthony Jevons, Deborah T. Givens, Janice Sisk, Paul Whalen, Kyle Rowland, Janice Miller, Marvin Dennison, Stevie Clark, Deborah Anderson Lewis, Lisa Leonard, Kristen Salyers, Daryl Horn, Deborah Alexander, Stuart Halbert, Lyda Phillips, Shannon Shirley, Mary Shields, Monica Jackson, Stanley Dennison, Robert Aiken, Kimberly Mullins, Rebecca Rawlings, Craig Hill, Francis Nemo, Patricia Vincent, Lonzo Moore Jr., Brandon Kenny, Ruby Mason, Tammy Barker, John Bichesser, Kenneth Finley, Madeline Flannery, Caitlin Stewart, Stacy Walker, Michael Wilson, Judy Green Baker, Emma Wireman, Michael Brady, Jennifer Gilligan, Mary Dubrock, Bradford Seward, Edwin Reitmeyer, Stephen Burnett, Anise Ballard, Sandra Drury, Francis Cambron, David Booth, Cher Eves, Seth Hall, Charles Haynes, Charlie Combs, Stephen Hauptner, Christina Epperson, Rodney Casada, Randy Insco, Mary Hargis, Daryl Robertson, Douglas Butler, Andrew Coates, Greg Cox, Daniel Grigson, Jack Couch, Tracy Harkins, George Graves, Thomas Craig, and Carl Rollins. Can we go ahead and get a motion to approve all Democratic nominees?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Ayes have it. And now we'll go through the Republicans real quick. Ricky Collins, Barry Blankenship, Autumn Bobbitt, Bob Wilson, Mike Harris, Steve Mueller, Denver Bashadze, Helen Keith, Harold Green, Charles Reinhardt, Yanni Burton, William Kidd, Deborah Worley, Matthew Reck, Daniel Vetter, Yancey White, Willard Johnson, Cynthia Lambert, Montea Mundy, David Donovan, Vicky R. Spencer, Mike Templeman, Elizabeth McWirt, Jim Kinman, Holton Howard, Gilbert Hensley, John Tidwell, Angela Sharp, Karen Eastham, Joe Coldiron, Deborah Owens, Charles Doyle, Michael Aldridge, Beverly Bailey, Haley Bates, Jason Pollard, Robert Lakes, Linda Huber, Lisa Caudill, Megan Saberpool, George Hammonds, Isaiah Pruitt, Deirdre Brewer, Ralph Coomer, Aaron Austin, Janet Ward, Ellen McWhorter Stone, Justin Williams, Richard Anderson, Keith Travis, Elizabeth Andrews, Ula Shirehorn, Steve Hatfield, Randy Little, Brooke Williams, Michael Carter, David Rhodes, Ryan Driscoll, Kevin Clements, Steve Linville, Larry Arnold, Udell Johnson, Clarence Olds, Sean Gabbard, Marie Childers, Randy Bowen, Deborah Ruckle, Connie Bolin, Michelle Emmerich White, Lance Hill, Patricia Fannin, Terry Orange, Rachel Brewer, Philip Dudgeon, Carl Heckman, Patrick Donahue, Gary Reckert, Frederick Grider, William Lay, Kimberly Medley, Bernice Wisman, and Nick Nash. Can we get a motion to approve the Republicans?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, everybody. I think we'll probably have a bunch more of these to do. Oh, I did skip that, didn't I? Okay. Check the wrong one. Sorry about that. I just got corrected. So thank you for approving those. We'll have some more in July, the July meeting, I'm sure, to fill out the rest of those. But I did check to clarify the members who are appointed now, whose terms are lapsing, can still remain on their county boards pending their replacements. So we will be fully staffed. Heather just told me that I skipped number 6. That's why I thought the book was out of order. Approval of memorandum of understanding with AOC. Who wants to take that for us?
I can take it, Mr. Secretary.
Okay.
This is like last month we had our MOU with AOC regarding the lists for jury duty. This is another one that we've done with AOC for years and years. We just have them on 2-year terms. So this one was expiring. This one is where AOC will give us the data they have regarding felony convictions, so we can purge per statute those that have a eligible felony conviction. So like I said, we've been doing it. There's no real change to this. We did negotiate a slightly longer period of time to which we would report if there was any kind of breach or anything like that. But other than that, it's what we've been doing.
Okay, any questions for Taylor about the MOU? Hearing none, can we get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, I think that gets us caught up. And now we have number 9, our executive director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I might add before I begin my report, I was going to say that the blank spaces on the spreadsheet are where the parties, the state parties, both the Democrat and the Republican, have not gotten us the 5 names for approval. So probably in the July meeting, hopefully we'll have the rest of these filled and we can submit the rest of the names. And when it says incomplete, that happens to be where they sent the list, but maybe they didn't give us 5 names. They only gave 3 names. But I thought I might clarify that for the board to curious why it wasn't completely filled. So did that answer any questions that anyone might have had related to the look of the spreadsheet?
If you only send us 3, does that deprive our ability to approve one of the 3? Do we have to get 5?
Yes, yes.
We do.
The
Okay.
statute says a list of 5 names, and when we don't have 5, then we turn it back to the county and allow them a little more time to bring us the full 5 names on the list. So, yes, sir. Okay, then I'll move on if that's okay. I will say that last Friday, we have signed another MOU executed with Missouri. So we'll be doing the same thing with Missouri as we've done with the other executed MOUs. We put them in contact with Tom Watson and our team, and then they work together to exchange data. And they usually have their own process. I don't try to get in the middle of a IT process. So they do a very good job. And they've been working with 2 or 3 of the other states so far that we have executed MOUs. Last time I reported that the 2026 calendar was still in review, but it is now complete and posted to the website. We've distributed to the county clerks, our staff. It's available to the public, LRC. So it is complete. Thanks to Richard. He was really instrumental in getting that done for us. Next is he's also working on the County Board of Elections Guide, which had not been updated in several years, and important as we move to have new board members appointed to the county boards for 4-year terms. That guide, he's worked closely with the county clerks. Taylor's been a part, and our IT, and we are in final review of that and be ready to distribute to the counties July 1st, when many of these county board of election members will be starting their term of office. So the other thing I was wanting to bring to the board's attention, this is something that we've been working on for several months at SBE. It's the development of a Kentucky elections certification program for the county clerks. Not mandatory, this is optional, but we've just recognized over the years the need to have a full program, not, periodic trainings at the County Board of Elections, but a true curriculum of coursework to provide them information about important election administration topics. And Taylor's worked with me on this. Richard, we've worked with the election group, but many of these programs in other states partner with universities to administer these programs. So earlier this year, we proposed this to KCTCS, President Quarles and his staff, and they recognized that this would truly be an important addition to KCTCS, and they've agreed to work with us to do this process. One of the things that we did is we asked 4 county clerks to help us come together to try to develop as an advisory work group, focus on curriculum development. And that was Renisa Abner from Henderson County, Chad Mattingly from Marion County, Amy Alvey from Oldham, and Jennifer Free from Bracken. And they have been very, very helpful in helping us to develop what core curriculum classes would be important. So through this process with KCTCS, they have agreed, and we've come together to have a pilot start on January 1st of 26. We would offer it to 10 or 12 interested counties, have about 4 curriculum core classes offered, both in person and online. This partnership with KCTCS, with all the number of campuses they have across the state and their, abilities to transmit and bring people together for classes, provided us an avenue where county clerks on the western part of the state or the eastern part of the state could go to one of the campuses close to them. So we were real excited that KCTCS wanted to work with us on this. So we will be talking, pushing it out to the county clerks. Next week, we'll be talking about it at their meeting. It'll probably be up to 11 or 12 curriculum classes, but in the process of the pilot, we're looking at something like an Election 101 class that gives a total overview. Leadership and management skills, which KCTCS already has some core classes built around that. Conflict resolution, election communications, audits and recounts. We had several others that we were really interested in and developed these classes. And we just believe that providing a certification program like this will bolster what we already have strong county clerk, workforce. But we know that we're going to have some turnover probably in 26, again, maybe in the next election cycle. And this is just a way for us to help retain experienced professionals. So I wanted to introduce this to the board, and hopefully you all see that this would be a true benefit to the county clerks. And at some point, as we grow the program, we'll be able to offer it out to their deputies as well, those that are in charge of the of elections in each of the individual counties. So, Richard, Taylor, do you all have anything to add, or have I?
I'd add one little bit for the board's full context. We do have a statutory requirement to provide training to county officials, and we've done that. We do that, whether it's going to KCCA or putting together the type of guides that Richard's been spearheading. We just thought that this would be more formal, more inclusive, like Karen said, for people throughout the state. Some of them can't always make it to Lexington or wherever the KCCA meetings are. But so while we have the statute that says we need to provide training, the clerks don't have a statute that says you must take training from the State Board of Elections, right? But they do have an incentive to get continuing education credits, which a lot are achieved at the KCCA meetings. But we did talk with DLG as well about maybe whether these type of classes could be expanded so that the clerks would get their continuing education credits for doing this stuff. And that was warmly received. So just another thing to think about, that we have to train anyway. We just thought this would be a better way to do it. And it would also give the clerks more access to the CLE mode, because it's June, continuing education credits that the clerks need anyway. That's the only other thing I had.
I think you summed it up. This is a program's it started out being kind of based on the idea that Taylor and Rachel and me and Karen have spent with Sarah. And I think that it's a great opportunity, and because it's using the community college system, it has the access to people, because deputies won't be able to travel as much as even the county clerks are. So this will give them a long-term opportunity to learn a lot about elections, and specifically get some details that they would otherwise pick up. So it's going to be a great opportunity.
Okay, any questions or comments on that?
If not, I'm concluded with my report. If no one has any questions, or I'll be happy to take questions.
Okay, thanks very much. And we have Kevin Alexander with KCCA with us. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning. Morning, Chairman. I wanted to first off, I was not able to be at the last meeting, so my apologies for that. We our May meeting of the KCCA was actually the first one probably in a long time that Karen and them weren't a part of, because we asked them, we were going to have a lot of training on the motor vehicle side. So State Board of Elections is wonderful about coming to our meetings. They always come. They usually take an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, and it's very good training. So our summer conference is coming up next week, 23rd, 24th, 25th in Lexington at Griffin Gate. And our last morning, our last three and a half hours that morning will be all election related. And so Karen, I know, and I have talked, and that's when she's going to discuss the curriculum certification she just talked about. I know she's very excited about it, and I think it'll be well received. And then we also, I know Carmine Acarino, who's on this Zoom, is also going to be speaking that morning. We did receive the election calendars, and those are always great, because it just, there's a lot going on in these offices. And as you might expect, especially in an off year, very little of that is election related. So it's good to have the calendars come out. I think Sue Carroll and Julie could attest to the fact you need that stuff for reminders. And so that is really all I've got today. But we look forward to seeing Karen and Richard Taylor and all the crew in Lexington with us next week. And obviously, Secretary Adams, we'd love to have you if you could come by. I think maybe Bill May had already maybe checked with your all's office, and you already had prior obligation or something. That's what I thought he had told me. But if things could change and you want to come by, we'd always love to have you.
Thank you so much. Any questions or comments for Kevin? Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to, as usual, jump ahead to number 12 before we go into number 11. We need a closed session. Before we do that, do we have any other business before the board today that we need to vote on? I don't think so. If not, I'll mark that all.
I believe.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There may be one piece of other business that comes out of closed session, Mr. Secretary.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So we may need to vote So if everyone could hang on after the closed session, that may or may not need to happen depending on the results of the closed session. And then afterward, we'll confirm our next meeting date and adjourn. But that's it, I think. Will Member Johnson, if he joins while we're in closed session, could he join the closed session? He can? Okay, very good. All right, so we need to go into closed session to discuss pending litigation, security, and personnel. Could I please get a motion for that?
I'll make the
So
motion.
moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.